Hi, Aquarius. This is Genevieve with Belladonna and Moonbeams. How are y'all doing? I'm doing well. This is a reading for May 24th through May 30th, 2021. And I did have a lot of good lessons this week. For example, a few days ago, a person I know refused to accept responsibility for her own actions. She threw shade on everybody, me especially, rather than say, I'm wrong, I messed up. And she took little bits of truth, just little droplets of truth, and created these lies, these big stories, rather than just say, yeah, I made a mistake. And it hurt my feelings that she was throwing shade at me like that. But then I started realizing that her inability to accept responsibility for her own actions is actually a spiritual deficit in her life. And so I had to evaluate what this meant for me. Well, first of all, obviously, she's out of my life. Second of all, what does that mean for me as far as a human being? Well, it means that I don't need to let people like that in my life. And I had seen all the warning signs. She threw shade on a lot of other people, but I thought she was telling the truth. And I've come to realize that she's probably lying about all of us. And see, that's one of the other things. When you get caught in some lies, people start realizing that you're not telling the truth at all. So here's what I see for y'all. First of all, this is the Two of Swords. And let's just pretend that these wands, since I have two of them sitting here, are like this. And the person is blindfolded because they don't want to make a choice. And when you don't want to make a choice and you don't make a choice, that's the same as making a choice. It's just a form of denial. So let's get out of the denial. Denying is like sticking your head in the toilet. And the problem is you might drown. You got to bring it up and make a choice. Even owning a choice that sucks is better than having a choice happen to you, in my opinion. Next to that, we get the Nine of Swords. This person is sitting here, and they got these swords to protect them, but they're really sad and they're overwhelmed. Maybe because there's a lot of choices going on, or maybe they just don't want to make the choice and it's just overwhelming. And you're in a place right now, and it's okay to allow yourself to be overwhelmed, but you've got to move forward and you've got to make a choice. And you've also got to use patience and temperance with that. So maybe one of the things you're trying to do is get it all solved yesterday. And yes, I would like things to be solved yesterday. I'd like to lose 50 pounds yesterday. That's not happening. But that's the whole thing. We have to do it one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. And eventually it's all going to pull together. But we got to do that. One of the things the cards say is to keep your counsel. Shh. Don't tell everything you know. And don't trust everyone. See, this person is sneaking off with all the swords. He's like, yeah, I got it. So, there are people in your life that you might not just want to trust. And if you trust them, then you're going to be hurt. But also, that doesn't mean you have to get rid of them. They might be a good enough friend or a relative or somebody that you still want them around. But maybe if you just acknowledge to yourself that you can't trust them with your deepest, darkest secrets and the things that really matter, then they won't hurt you as much. And next to that, we get the Judgment card. So use your judgment in this person. You know whether or not that they are worth keeping around. You know if they have value to you. And finally, with the Lovers, turn it over. Because it's reversed, I think that this person is in your, well, and because it's the Lovers all together, this person is actually in your family or close friends group. And that's part of the reason is how you've had so much angst over it, is that they are in your circle. And you don't want to get rid of them, but you also know they're not what they're supposed to be. They're not what they seem. So you just have to figure out where all that fits together for you. Now I'm going to pull a card for the Earth Magic Oracle deck. And the card I get is Veiled, Fog. And that goes perfectly with that, this card. Because there are things that are beyond the veil. Or with this card, it's having your eyes closed. But if you're lifting the veil, you open it up and you can see again. So come out of the fog and make your choices. Namaste, y'all. If you want to do a private reading, send me a text to 405-512-9400. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel.